Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy, the Mad Tiger, and welcome back to part 2 of the PlayStation 1 collection. Plenty of games to go through here today. Quite a few different ones, some big hitters here. If you're wondering what I'm going to play afterwards, I started Root Letter. It's the first ever visual novel game that I've ever played, and I've got to say that actually it's something a bit different, and I'm enjoying what I'm playing so far. I wouldn't really call it a game as such. It's like reading a book almost and choosing where to go and putting it all together, but it's kind of an interesting one, and it definitely broadens the horizons of what sort of games I play. But without further ado, let's just jump straight into it, starting off with Actua Ice Hockey, just a ice hockey game. Some ice hockey games are pretty fun, some of these older ones. Then we have Actua Soccer 3. I don't know what the last Actua game came out on. I think it was a PS1 game. And we have Anna Kournikovas Smash Court Tennis. You might look at this and think it's just a bland tennis game, but actually it plays sort of like a chibi anime style game, and it has a lot of like levels and mini games, and it's actually really fun. This is definitely one of the most underrated games on the system. With its bland cover, you think it's terrible, but it's actually really good. I remember playing this one quite a bit. And we have Area 51. Is the arcade game. It's a light gun shooter, and yeah, it's a classic. Then we have the Army Man series. We have Army Men Land, Sea and Air, a game that I grew up with. Loved these games growing up. They don't hold up that well, unfortunately. They are a little bit rough around the edges. They're not amazing games or anything, but as a kid, I loved them. As it's the same with Army Men Lock and Load. I never played this one, so it'll be interesting to try out this one. Co-op mode. This one includes co-op, so yeah. Then we have Army Men's Operation Meltdown. Another one in the series. And I think this was the first one on PlayStation, that is Sarge's Heroes. I loved this game growing up as well. Another classic. And we have Batman and Robin by Acclaim. This is a terrible game. I've heard nothing but bad things about this one. I think it is based on the movie from the 90s. The game isn't that great, unfortunately. And then we have Brian Lara's Qriket. These Brian Lara games were actually pretty decent games for the time, if you enjoyed cricket. I'm not really a big fan of cricket, so I have nothing. Then we have Bust a Move 4. Pretty cool bubble pop style game. Yeah, we get a lot of these on mobile nowadays, but back in the day, this was a pretty fun game. Sort of puzzle games I enjoy. Medal of Honor Underground. It's in the wrong case. It's in a Crash Bandicoot 2 case, but I believe the game is Medal of Honor Underground, which is the second in the series, I believe. And we have Croc, Legend of the Globos. This game was basically like a Spyro style game. I absolutely loved this game growing up. It was so cool. It's kind of a hard one to track down, but there is talk about a remaster coming out, or they have talked about whether or not they get open to doing it, and they said they wouldn't mind doing a new one, which would be pretty cool. Then we have the original Colin McRae Rally from back in the day, the greatest rally game of all time. It says here. Whether or not that's true today, I don't know. Then we have the Cool Borders series. Cool Borders 2. These games were basically like mixing like SSX with something like Road Rash. You could like fight people and stuff in it. I remember playing these games as a kid and loving these games. These were awesome. And then we have the third game in the series. I can't remember which one I had growing up. I think it was either the second or third one. And the fourth one, I believe this also came out on PS2. Or there was one on PS2, but only in Japan or the USA. Not in Europe, I'm not too sure. Or only like in a certain country, I can't remember. We have Dancing Stage Euromix, a DDR game. Of course, in the UK, they were called Dancing Stage, but they are also known as DDR or Dance Revolution in the arcade. Then we have Demolition Racer. I absolutely adored this game growing up. Really good game, lots of cool modes in here. My favourite mode was like the survival mode, but it was, instead of the last man standing, it was the first one to get destroyed wins. Just play that game for hours on end. We have Destruction Derby 2, another standalone title. These games are okay, they're not terrible. Then we have Die Hard Trilogy. These games were pretty awesome as well. They included 3 versions of the game. The first one was sort of like a third-person action game. The second one was like a light gun game, and the third one it was sort of like you drive around and pick up the bombs. Was a pretty good game for its time. And they released a sequel, which was based in Las Vegas. Again, it had the same sort of a style to it. You know, 3 different types of games here. What sort of one you enjoyed, and you had a chance for winning a Las Vegas prize. I wonder if anyone ever won that. And we have a Digimon Rumble Arena. This was basically Smash Bros, but Digimon characters. Kind of a hard one to find nowadays. Digimon games do keep their value. Then we have Disney's Lilo and Stitch, Trouble in Paradise. This is a Crash Bandicoot clone, and not a bad one at that. These Disney games used to be pretty good back in the day. As is the same with Buzz Lightyear's Star Command, based on the TV show that came out. But the game is actually really good. It's like a third-person shooter. Really, really good game. Most of the Toy Story games were really good back in the day. As is the same with Disney's Tarzan. Another sort of platformer, but a decent one. Then we have the original Driver, a game that is notorious for having one of the toughest tutorial missions. Yeah, this was a good game, but it was very challenging. And they did include a sequel, and of course the sequel allowed you to get out of your cars and steal cars and things. Again, a pretty decent game for its time. Then we have Duke Nukem. This is just the standalone version. I think this is Duke Nukem 3D. Yeah, I think this is the original 3D first-person shooter. There were like 3 or 4 games on the PS1. We have the original Dynasty Warriors. It's in a single case, but I believe it is a English copy of the game. It could be wrong. It might be American. No, it's PAL. It does say there. The original Dynasty Warriors was actually a 3D fighting game, much like Soul Blade or Tekken or something. Of course, we know that the series went on to become something completely different when it made the transition to PS2. And we have ECW's Hardcore Revolution. Some of these old wrestling games were pretty awesome back in the day. Yeah, it was cool to see that ECW got a few games. And we have Formula 1 2000. I remember I had this one as a kid. As a kid, I thought this was one of the most beautiful games I ever played. The graphics were amazing for the time. And yeah, of course, Formula 1 gets games every year nowadays, so it's nothing new. Then we have F1 Grand Prix, or Grand Prix. This was the Adios answer to Formula 1. Fantastic Journey. It's just a pinball game. I think it's just one table, but there might be some sort of upgrade or something to it. I don't know. Then we have FIFA 97. I think this was the first PlayStation FIFA game in the 90s series, of course, originally on the Sega. And of course, we have Final Fantasy VII in its jewel case. Of course, Final Fantasy VII is often considered to be one of the best games of all time. I've never played it myself. I'll probably play the remake, maybe, rather than the original, because the remake's more of an action one. This was turn-based. But again, this game was notorious for having an amazing story. Everything was amazing about it. It's a bit blocky nowadays, so if you're going to play this version, you can get a Final Fantasy remastered version, which is basically the same game as this one, but with updated graphics on Switch and stuff. So, yeah. Then we have Gran Turismo 2, one of the best PlayStation 2 Get 1 games. This game had amazing reviews, the graphics were on point, the gameplay was great, and I believe this is one of the top selling PlayStation 1 games of all time. Then we have the Grand Theft Auto trilogy, Grand Theft Auto 1, when it was a top-down action game, and then the standalone DLC, we have Mission Pack 1, London 69. I believe there was another one, but I can't remember if you actually needed to have the original game. And I think you do, but I could be wrong. And then we have the second game. I remember playing this one quite a bit as a kid as well. This game has a really weird feature. You can press one of the buttons and your character like burps and farts. I have no clue why. Then we have Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Ironically, this game is actually getting pretty expensive, especially on the PS2. It says right there, mid-rare, popular. It's not a hard game to find. It's just getting a bit more expensive. The PS2 version is like at least £20 and up. Then we have Landmaker, a Taito puzzle game. And the last two we have here are Eminem's Shell Shocked, which is again another Crash Bandicoot style clone. And the last one is one of my all-time favourites, Micro Machines V3. Absolutely adored this game growing up. Probably my favourite in the Micro Machines series. Really, really fun game. Great game if you've got someone else to play with. And there we have it. The PlayStation 1 collection. It's humble, but it's decent. I've definitely got some of the big hitters here. The Final Fantasy VII. I am missing, of course, some of the more rarer games. I am missing some games like Metal Gear Solid 1. I know that I am missing some of the big hitters here. But I do have a nice variety here. And the best part is a lot of these games I can play on PS2 as well. So, yeah, I might take a little break for a couple of days from doing videos. I'm not sure yet. Try and get things sorted out. But as always, if you enjoyed today's video, feel free to leave a like. And, of course, comment below. Let me know your favourite PlayStation 1 game. I'm going to try out some more Roulette. I might beat this game because it's not exactly a hard game to beat, actually. So, and as always, guys, subscribe if you haven't already and join the family. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at the Mad Kiger. I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing tonight, so if there is a stream tonight, I'll put it out on Twitter. There might be a stream. I'm not sure. My friend did ask if I'm coming on, so I've asked him what he wants to play. We'll see how we go. But as always, guys, have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, and bye-bye.